Hello, everybody. Today I want to bring you to one of my new favorite places, the haunted and historic North Plank Road Tavern. This is located in Newburgh, New York, so upstate New York, very close to Beacon. A friend had told me that I should visit this tavern because it's haunted and historic, two of my favorite things. And they told me to sit at the bar and ask the bartender about the history of the place. And this ended up paying off a billion times. So I brought in some friends. We actually had dinner in the restaurant and then went to the bar and asked the bartender about the history of the place. Not only did the bartender bring out framed photographs and different artifacts to show us, literally all of the patrons and other staff members there did the same thing. And they spent their entire evening hanging out with us, obviously making us drinks, but also taking us on tours around the building, showing us all kinds of things, telling us about the history. It was a very special night, and I'm excited to share it with you guys now. The first thing you notice when you walk inside is the stunning wood-carved bar. During our visit, the bar quickly became covered with framed photographs that the staff pulled out to show us. The tavern was initially built in 1801, making it one of the oldest buildings in the area. And it was a stagecoach stop, and so it's named for this plank road that it initially was sitting on. And a plank road is just a road made of planks of tree logs halved. And the whole point is that in this area particularly, it can be really muddy and slippery, so the planks help provide stability for the stagecoaches. One little interesting side fact here is that in Newburgh, New York, where this tavern is, residents could elect to do labor instead of paying taxes. So a lot of the labor that went into building this road was actually done by the residents here, many of whom were women and children. After the introduction of railroads to the area, the tavern actually became a boarding house, and some of the rooms upstairs are still used for Airbnb and hotel rooms, things like that. As historic buildings often do, the ownership of the tavern changed hands several times over the years. The tavern even remained operational during Prohibition, if you know what I mean. During this era, a woman named Mrs. Sauer ran the speakeasy here. One story from a Highland Currents article accounts that one evening, Mrs. Sauer's boyfriend insulted her in front of her son Frederick. A full-grown man at this point, Frederick punched his mother's boyfriend so hard he broke his neck. They buried him behind the barn. It became a hangout spot for mobster Dutch Schultz, who lived nearby. And during a period of time, a man nicknamed Uncle Frank, also associated with the mob, ran the tavern. During this era, there were also slot machines on the upper level. Upstairs floors were also converted into a brothel, only accessible by a side staircase. There is absolutely so much history here. This is literally just the tip of the iceberg. So it's no wonder that a place like this that's had so many different people pass through would be haunted. So let's talk about the hauntings of the North Plank Road Tavern, the piece that I am most excited about. So it's said that Mrs. Sauer still makes appearances here from time to time. And when you think about all of the different figures that I mentioned today, all of the different personalities that have both run this tavern or stayed here, endless wild people, I'm sure, I feel most inclined to encounter Mrs. Sauer in a dark hallway in the tavern, though her ex-boyfriend did end up buried behind the barn, so maybe he's around too. Every year in December, the North Plank Road Tavern puts on a big party, and I really, really want to be able to go someday soon. It sounds like so much fun, a big theme, costumes, all of that. And also, I should say, the food was absolutely delicious. The drinks were excellent. Again, the staff, the waiters, the bartenders, I think even one of the owners was there, and they all lent us a ton of time and were very, very, very attentive. So I can't say enough about this establishment, both as a bar and restaurant, but also as a haunted and historic tavern. If you're local to the area, it's a must visit, and if you're going to be traveling through at any point, you have to check it out. As always, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm Abby Branker, co-host of the Lunatics Radio Hour podcast, where we explore the history of horror. So if you're looking for more dark history, be sure to listen to Lunatics Radio Hour anywhere you listen to podcasts. Talk to you soon. Bye.